All right, it's Monday, December 4, getting off to a late start, almost 7:10 in the morning, West Coast. And let's see what kinds of channels I could find here. I don't really like any of that. Maybe that. I don't know. You could draw. Let's forget those. I'm going to do a database refresh just to make sure these candles are right. Doesn't look like anything's really changed. We got a huge move down. Let's see if the measured move hit. It's like that. So it definitely had a measured move and some. Not to the upside here. Didn't quite get to that. This is looking a bit range-like now. So clearly a very down day so far. So I missed most of last week being sick. Feeling a bit better today. Still not 100%, but better. And I have very limited days to trade December. So I need to get more aggressive here. With my trading. Potential
order submitted.
I don't like that it's in this little range. If it falls below here, maybe. So I just don't like this OJ because it could be a failed breakout. That range. I think these are the cases where maybe the OJs fail when you have a range. This could be a first entry long, second entry long. Looks like the OJ would have worked. Let's see. Yeah. Just wasn't clear on that one because it felt like it could come back into the range like a failed breakout. So far it's only gone 4 ticks. Definitely trying to give me an opportunity to get into it, but there it goes. Still only gone 5 ticks, but I think I'm waiting, obviously.
Order canceled.
Just sketched me out. Yeah, there it goes. So that would have been a good OJ. Right after I'm saying I need to be more aggressive, but I've seen that OJs fail in range situations, so I'm being a little bit more careful with them. For anyone that hasn't watched my channel before, I'm just documenting my journey on my Apex accounts with my strategy that I'm trading indicator to the left of this chart. It's over to the left here. And I'm taking signals of setups that I've come up with myself for the most part. Some of them are related to the indicator itself, and some of them are just purely observations that I've made and started taking setups off of it. And as well as I have been a PATS trader for years, 3 years, and on YouTube, not very good, 36% trading PATS. My NLTS strategy that I just talked about, I've been much better at 75%. And trying to just stick with my strategy, but sometimes when I see a PAT setup, it's hard not to take it. So sometimes I will take them when I see them. And these evaluations all renew in December. I'd like to, for the most part, pass or fail most of them. So I have a lot of work to do, and I only have, I think, 9 trading days before I have a week vacation, and then it's Christmas after that. So I have a lot of trading to do to accomplish this. So I'm going to be trading 3 contracts with 1 scalp on the top 2 evaluations. And then on the 150s, I'm going to be trading 9 scalps with 3 runners each, and then on and so then 3 and 1 on the other lower evaluations, and then 3 and 1 on 2 of my PAs, but on MES on those. So for the most part, I just hit record and record this live session anytime I'm seeing something that might be a trade, or when I'm adjusting my channels, or I have something to say about something I'm seeing. It's a little hard to stop and then know when to hit record again when I think something is worth recording. So sometimes I'm going to let it run a little bit more than usual.
Order submitted.
I want to buy this bottom.
Order canceled.
Just was trying to stay patient there to make sure. I had this in mind already in the back of my head. Even that didn't hold. So, something wider, something down here. All right, here's where I'll pause and wait till I see something. So now I'm just looking at if I measure from the top all the way down to here, if maybe we'll get a second leg all the way down. That's a big down day if that's what happens. I guess it's not too much further, but it seems like it. All right, so I'm going to need it to get to at least the midline EMA area or up here. So look for a short. Also, it's 7:30 now. I'm going to have to stop at about 8:30 to take my daughter to school. And usually it takes me about an hour before I'm back. So that's coming up as well. I expect this to hold here, but just hard to buy this. Just such a down day. I don't want to be buying the bottoms of ranges right now. Here. Yeah, failed break out of the bottom. Actually, it was like a second entry long engulfing. Could have bought to get to the top, but just felt kind of sketchy to me. Just all this downward movement. I would like to limit sell the top of this, but knowing that there's potential for channel to be over here, and there's a breakout of the bottom, so it's probably going to lead to a breakout of the top. So I stayed out of this, but if I limited right here, and if I got in on that tick, it would have worked for 8 ticks. Those are kinds of things I'm starting to look for opportunities, but I want it to be with trend and just in the right spot for context. Wait here for something. Hey, this thing is really slowed down. Just has stayed inside of this pretty tight range here. I was able to spot this form early when this happened. But because of the breakout on the bottom, I didn't feel safe selling the top, and I still don't until it gets a little further over, just in case this channel is legit. Which there's some signs that it is. Midline here. midline here, here, here. So definitely want to see what happens on this side, but also thinking that there might be an overshoot to the top of the range and then a failed breakout back down. The ATR is pretty low now, 6 ticks. But just no legit setup in this. The only thing I can imagine happening is wanting to sell the range high in this situation. And when I do that, I'm going to do like a, depending on the situation, but typically like a 4 or 5 tick stop. You can see it's not even getting up to the top. Definitely not buying the bottoms anywhere here. So pause here and keep waiting. So now this thing dropped out of the range before it even got to where I think the trend channel is, or the trend line. So yeah, it definitely seems like it's headed for this bigger move. But I'm not seeing any way to get in so far. I went back and looked earlier. There was probably some opportunities that I missed in the first 30 minutes of the open. But even then, I mean, really just one, I think, that would have been good for me. So okay, and pause here. So I'm definitely very interested in starting to place limit sells at the tops of ranges like this. The best case scenario is when I see a downtrend that I know I can trust. This one I don't really love. When we get a break, have a known resistance high of a range and looking for a new low, and to just limit at the top, give it a little bit of room, not too much, keep it a small loss if it goes against me, and then expecting that low to get hit. So this is actually an example of it, although it feels like it's in a weird spot just because of my trend line. But what I would do is place a limit sell right here and go for the 8-tick scalp. I'm not sure I would have got into this trade if I put it there, because I would have been right on the line. So probably probably would not have gotten in on this so far. So far, it's only a 6 tick candle, which is the ATR right now. And then I would just put the stop tick above this one. But I'm not doing it because I don't know that I can totally trust what I have as a channel down here. But that's going to be the idea of things I look for when I try to do a limit range order. So you see, if I did that here, I'm not sure I would have got in, but if I did get in, it looks like it's going to work. So I was able to get in at 56. Yeah, it would have got to the 8 ticks, so I would have got 6 ticks on that. I'm still going to be careful where I do those. You know, it's very specific situations. So here's, you know, what my concern would have been on this one. So you see, if I had done it again even, I would have been safe, or I'd have my stop and it would have worked again even. So it's something I've been noticing that I want to start doing. I haven't done it yet on YouTube. I've been testing them on playback, and it's really easy to do it too often and you get caught. So it's like just trying to make sure you do it in the right situation. So you know, I'm getting more comfortable doing it yet, but I haven't done it yet here on YouTube. So hopefully there'll be some situations where I feel more confident about it. I think in this area probably was not a bad idea. Even when this started pulling back, maybe not a bad idea, but you know, I'll get there eventually. At some point we'll take some of those. All right, so we finally got to where my trend line is after a whole lot of sideways for an hour. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Right on it. Now, if it breaks here, I don't know if this thing is legit. You only got touches here. I mean, it looks legit otherwise. So I want to make sure I'm not missing something bigger. See what happens here. That actually is more confirmed, at least. Touch there, touch there. Yeah, so this looks more legit, even though there's only the one touch on the bottom. Too bad I didn't have that earlier, because then I would have been more likely to take the OJ that I skipped. So I think it's safe to expect a retest of the low off that if we get a setup. It's actually a potential PB setting up here. But it's one of those cases where I don't like the context because I am expecting a new low. I also know that there's resistance here, which seems to still be in play. So this is a PB, but because it's closing right on that line, it triggers if it goes 2 ticks above this. But I can't take that, one, because it's long, and two, because I see it's stopped right on that resistance from here. So it's one of those cases where I think even if it triggers, it's best for me to leave it alone. I have had 4 losses on PB so far. And my theory is that it's because of things like this that I wasn't looking for at the time that caused some of them to not work. It's just a theory. Okay, so it's not even triggered yet. It's 1 tick. So it did go 2 ticks anyway. Only 1 tick. So according to my rules, I can't enter this regardless. But I think for all the reasons I just said, are reasons not to take it. First entry short, this would be a second entry short, engulfing. Expecting a new low. And very sideways here. It's tempting because of the context. Not a lot of room to the EMA. Maybe a lower high kind of situation I could think about.
Order submitted.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the second entry short worked here, but failed breakout. $58.25 is the entry of the second entry short. It's gone 4 ticks so far. So I think if we get a lower high setup that closes below the EMA, I might be interested in that. It's a failed second entry short.
Order canceled.
Looks like the failure is good. So I wouldn't have been able to take that because of the resistance regardless. It definitely wasn't looking for a long. All right, put this on pause here. I'm going to have to stop pretty soon here. And then I'll be back in about an hour, but I'm just going to pause it and see what this does in the next couple of minutes before I leave. All right, so I'm going to have to pause with my trading here, and I'll be back in about an hour. And hopefully find something on that side. All right, just got back. Let's see what we've got here. So we didn't get a retest of the low, which makes me think that that's not too legit. I'm going to take it off. And we have something bigger. Maybe something like that is possible. We also didn't reach that bigger measured move down. So still doesn't look like there was really much anything from my Nlts strategy. This was a BT I could have taken. Still not really sure about BTs yet, if they're good trades or not. This one's a BT too. It's a high here. 71 and higher. So 71 and a quarter would be the entry. 73 and a quarter. So that would have worked for 6 ticks. I should actually, I'm going to refresh my historical data since I was away. Might as well just make sure everything I'm looking at is up to date. Looks like it changed a little bit. That's why I've gone into the habit of just doing that every now and again, because on tick charts, things can change if you didn't get the, if there's some drop packets. I use Wi-Fi, so can miss data sometimes. First entry, second entry long, off the EMA, not the best signal bar, congested, not the kind of trade I would take. Suppose this could also be this way. This maybe makes more sense. Spike into a channel. Second entry long, looks like it's working. 71 and a quarter. Good for 4 ticks at least. ATR still low, 6.5 almost ticks. I gotta keep that in mind if I take a trade. All right, so I'll pause here until something sets up. I've already got 45 minutes recorded of really nothing. Looking back, I kind of wish I took that trade, but had a steep leg up and just wasn't entirely clear to me if we had already reached the bottom at that point. And what I talked about the range earlier. And just so much sideways this morning. There's not really much opportunity. Looks like the bars maybe changed down here too. All right, I'll pause here until I see something. So it looks like we're about to get an overshoot, or we already got an overshoot. Which makes me think maybe my original channel was more correct. Because that way we're still inside. Oh, it's not confirmed yet. By the way, this was now low. But didn't look good to take it, considering it would be going into the top of the trend channel. So this is another case where I'll be observing whether it ultimately works or not. The entry would be 76.25. So far it's gone to 77. Yeah, again, this is to just observe, before I was drawing channels with my Nlts strategy, I would just take this blindly. And then sometimes when they wouldn't work, I didn't really know why. 6 times I've lost. So now I'm testing to see whether maybe it's because when they're going into tops of channels, is that when it doesn't work? Maybe it's when there's already a trend break and 2 legs to a new high. Maybe that's when it doesn't work. So just trying to be a little smarter, since it's a unproven strategy that I came up with. It's funny how I always come into Mondays going, okay, I'm going to be more aggressive and get trades, and then Mondays always seem like they're tricky for me. Just, definitely, there's good movement pre-market. It looks like the market opened, got a bounce up. Not sure there was one trade in there that for Nlts, a PB. And then I saw the one OJ that I skipped. And then, that would have been beautiful for a runner, actually. And then just flat down here. Not many opportunities, and then I've been away. So kind of is what it is, but if I see something I like, I'll definitely be ready to take it. So yeah, look, so the PB would have, or not the PB, the LO, now technically too, the LO, the stop should go under this. But what I was considering was putting a stop just under the LO bar. So if I'd done that and if I had entered, it would be a loss already. I'm curious to see if it'll be a loss under this bar. And these are the kinds of things I'm just happy to observe while not being in a trade. And try to lock it in a little bit better. When's a good time to take those, when's not a good time. Already I wouldn't want this much drawdown on this kind of setup. So I kind of like my idea. What was this? 7-tick bar, so it'd be a 9-tick risk. Versus 71.50, 76.25. You have 4.75 point risk if you put it here. It's kind of a good amount of risk to put on a trade when you're going for 8 ticks. So that's what's difficult about the LO, especially. The PB and the OJ, I think, have mostly found a way to keep the risk a little bit lower. At least it shouldn't be more than 5 points. So this LO is kind of reasonable to put it here. And that's what the strategy is. In theory, it shouldn't come back here. We'll see. I'm not really clear where I would draw a leg from. I mean, the beginning of the move is, maybe say from here. So if it's from there, it's reached it. If it's from here, still got some room to go. See what NQ's doing. I haven't really been looking much. I drew one channel. Still not comfortable to take a trade on NQ. I haven't really tested it at all. Back to the open on NQ. Above the open on ES. All right, I'm just going to pause here. Not seeing any sort of possible setup for me. I mean, you have a first entry long, first entry short, second entry short. On the inside bar. Leave that alone. I'm pausing here. I'm just looking at this right now just because this is where I believe the trend channel is. So I want to see if this holds. There's no setup for me right here. And I wouldn't trust this on its own to go long at this point. I wonder if there's any kind of range thing happening here. Not quite. And where are we on the day? What's this? It's about that same level. Which is interesting. So we did get confirmation of this channel here. Possibly can consider a second entry long, maybe, if it sets up right. I don't really think so though, because it's just EMA is flattening out. And I'm trying not to take Pat's entries if I can avoid them. We got first entry long. Let's see what this bar does. I'll just get a long order just
Order
in
submitted.
case it were to come down here and then make a strong move up with room. You can see I'm trading 12 contracts overall on the 150K accounts. It's 9 scalps and 3 runners. On the 2 PAs, I'm trading MES. And I'm going to do 6 scalps and 2 runners on those. And then the rest is 3 and 1. All right, so we got the move down. So if this makes a sharp move up, maybe I can consider a long. Can be a triple test. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't look like it's coming back up. Still time. Nope. No. And that's if we go from here. Problem now is we got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars stacked sideways. Even if this isn't, it's hard to say. You know, is this a break or is it not a break? It's not convincing. You would need it to close above the EMA no matter what. The EMA is very flat. All right, so now you have a break no matter how you look at it. If there was more obvious support here, I might buy the support. It's almost tempting to try it. Thing is it this support or is it this support? I want one more confirmation that this is support. put it here, and you're risking about 3 ticks. You're risking for 3 ticks to put it here, or 7 ticks to put it there. It's tempting. Thing too is you just want to make sure you're not inside something. Yeah, that was probably the place to do it. I mean, this is where I would have put it, so I'm not even sure I would have got filled there. Looks like I was having the right idea, though. We went 6 ticks. So this is like the case where it's like, I have a trend up, I have a break, I'm expecting a retest of the high, so it's, do I want to bet on the support? I do, but I don't. I think I have the right idea on this one. And again, I'm not sure that it would have filled me yet if I had put my order there at any point yet. And this just keeps holding every time it goes there. The reason why I'm hesitating now is there's a reason on my Nlts chart to the left to not do it. It may still work. I mean, I think I have the right idea here, but it is an extra level of hesitancy based on what I'm seeing on the other chart. Another chance. What I want to do is place it here and put my stop here. Be 3 ticks of risk. There's also a possible OJ up here, actually. It's close like right here. But if it closes too high, then it'll be too high. Yeah. 325. It's 1 tick away from getting to my 8 ticks where I would lock in 6. The thing is, because I have just limited days in December, it's like I gotta just start taking chances. You don't have a better chance of 3 tick risk. I'd already be 1 tick away from getting there. I could just close it and I'd have a win already. So it's like the kind of thing I need to get a little bit more aggressive with. Otherwise, I paid for these accounts for no reason because I don't have much time in December. Like here, it's going to work. I don't know that I would have got picked up putting the stop where or putting the limit order where I was going to put it. I think it would need it to be 1 tick higher. But I had the right idea. There's the 8th tick. So I'm not completely crazy. Now I am going to look for a possible OJ if it closes right here, like above the midline. So I'm getting ready on my other chart. It's going back down. Now I wouldn't do this here because it already worked once for the 8th tick. Let's see where it stops here. Yeah. So it would have just barely worked if I was in that. This may become a failed breakout. If we get a failed breakout and an OJ up here, I might do that. I don't love this channel. Well, that seems confirmed. Got touches on top, touches on bottom. You do expect the retest. Today seems like a hard day. I was checking out some other YouTubers. It seems like people have been getting some losses today. Discords and whatnot.
Order canceled.
So not really clear. There's a possible PB kind of down here to the short side. I feel like I'd still be expecting a retest of the high, and there's still the measured move up there. I'm pause here, wait for something clear, or more clear. I gotta feed my dogs, take them out, so I'll take a little bit of a break here. All right, just getting back. Let's see what we have here. It's a bit confusing looking. It's possible you have something wider like that. Got the wick here. First entry short. Interesting that there was, I think there was a PB here. It's hard to tell after the fact if all the rules were in place. But if all the rules were in place, this was a PB that lost. And I wouldn't have been looking for a short PB because I would have still been thinking retest of the long, you know, for the high up here. Strange PA today. Big down day. I mean, that was a pretty nice recovery. So not really sure. Not really sure what we're doing here. I mean, you kind of want to say, like, is it going to be two legs down like that? Because you know for sure you've already got more than what this would be. Yeah. All right, I'll pause it again, see if something comes up. All right, so I just erased that wider down channel. I just don't believe in it. I'm actually thinking if we get a first entry short, second entry short, I might take the long for the retest of the high.
Order submitted.
And it's not really my plan to take Pat's entries so much, but it seems like a potential opportunity here to trap shorts. Wish this was a little bit more bearish to convince him. I just want to know where this line is. So that's the possible resistance. But It's really not a bad spot for a failed second entry short. They usually don't happen the way I'm expecting quite exactly. They usually are slightly different, and I have to adjust and then decide if I'm still going to take it. So we'll see. And my failed second entry longs, or failed second entry shorts, I think the failures I've taken haven't been that great in these 11 trades that I've done on YouTube. I forget what my stats were. Here, I can see them real fast. Failed second entry long, 0-2. I thought I took more trades than that. Here, let me pause and see what's going on here. All right, there we go. So I was 2-1 on failed second entry shorts and 0-2 on failed second entry longs. So what was that? 2 wins and 3 losses on failures. So we do have first entry short, second entry short. And so now we've got 3 bars kind of stacking. And this doesn't make me as comfortable to take it the way this is. So this resistance playing a role. I'd have to see it close above and then maybe take it. And we'll see it close above. And close down here. I don't think I can take it if it's underneath this. I'll see it close above that white line. It's not going to do it. So real budget looking failed second entry short. It just doesn't look like the setup I'd want. One more tick is going to trigger it. I just don't know that I can go long into that resistance. Maybe if it closes above and I can sneak in with a limit order afterwards. I basically just want to see that this resistance isn't going to hold, though, for me to be able to take this. You can see that reaction. It's also a Pikachu, first entry long, second entry long, bad signal bar. But you see, resistance definitely playing a role on that. So one tick from getting stopped out on the failure. If you put your stop here, very sideways. So it ticks below this, it stops out the failed second entry short.
Order canceled.
And that's how people get losses on PATs. You know, if you have this channel, you have this expectation, leg down, break, 2 legs to a new low, and you think you got a channel here potentially, and that's how you get smacked. But I've kind of learned my lesson on most of the time when there's a resistance right there. And you've seen it, reject it. So if this had come up and closed one tick above the white line, then I would have put my stop where the entry is supposed to go and hope to get picked up and go with it. That's why PATS is hard, man. Because not every failure you see is going to work. And you're just told that, well, you must have not seen the context right, because if the context was right, then it would have worked. So you tell me. That makes me just want to take this channel off. What does it look like if it's off? Here. Leg up, break, 2 legs to a new high. What's NQ doing? Unsure. All right, I'm just going to pause here. Got some support here. Not tried and tested yet for me to try to play it. And it looks like our uptrend is over. So I'm just going to stay patient. Not too far away from passing this evaluation. Just need good trades. All right, I'm going to pause here. I guess what I kind of missed, I was so focused on the retest of the high, first entry long, second entry long, failure below the EMA. But even that, I mean, it's stacked. It's like the way I was looking at it. Just never know. You could also argue that there's an uptrend like this that needs a retest. But let's see. If this holds here, I don't know. These are the kinds of days it's frustrating not get a trade. Could have had one. I also feel like this is the kind of day it's like you could just make a mistake and blow accounts pretty easily. Sometimes it's just better not to take a trade. And my 24 150K eval was the free one, so that expires on the 12th. I'm not going to renew that because it would be for half price of the full price. So that will definitely get canceled. This one has a little bit longer, December 27 maybe. So we have time for that as well as all of these. But I really want to try to pass. That's my new goal. My goal had been to get a payout by the end of the year. My new goal is just pass as many evaluations as I can before the new year. So I have a little bit more PAs to work with, and then to just get more aggressive with the PAs and just go for it. Let's see setups right now. So lower high. Really just try not to take pats unless they just really jump out at me. Just like a super obvious, perfect setup. Nothing on the Nlts right now. I'm going to pause. I already got an hour and a half recorded, so it's a lot of recording for no trades. I might have
Order submitted.
OJ here. But it's going further than I'd like it to go. Looking for a retest of these lows. 65. No, it doesn't qualify.
Order canceled.
I was doing that quick because it looked like it was going to happen fast. Wonder if we're just in some small range here. See how that measured moved down from there? It's just not really clear what's going on here. The EMA is super flat on this one. My indicator to the left of this chart for Nlts is also looking just very flat and confusing. I was just hoping to see an OJ right there happen. I was thinking it would happen up here, maybe even on this bar, but this bar closed, and then, but by the time this bar closed, it wasn't a setup anymore. So it's been really confusing PA since I've been back in here. Had like a triple test here, not a good signal bar for PATs. It was a failed second entry long, but the close was above and then the trigger was below. So in no clear context at the time, I was still looking for longs. Right now, I don't even know what I'm looking for. I kind of have an idea of this needing a retest. But really, this is just the second leg down of this, so I'm not too sure about that. And perhaps it's not going down because what I had drawn before was correct. I wonder if I can still, yeah. So I had something like this. So if that's correct, then you are still expecting a retest of the high. So I don't want to short up here. So it's just confusing. I don't have a clear idea. You know, I kind of want to short this, but I kind of don't.
Order submitted.
Yeah. You hesitated there. 71, it would have already worked. We've already got 6 ticks. You can see how that can work. I mean, you've got resistance, resistance, third test. It popped up a little bit, and so what I was worried about is these, you know, do I need to be above there or above here? I didn't want to be that big. Generally, it'll be a couple above. I probably would have been safe, but I was worried about whether it was going to like shoot up, test something over here, and then come back. But the right idea. If I keep seeing that I have the right idea over and over again, then I'll be able to take those much easier. Again, wondering about possible OJ here. Close down here, but not much room. And I have to remember also OJs are not good in ranges like this. I've been seeing inside of ranges they lose a lot. No OJ there. Pause again. It's peaked out here. It could be a failed breakout. Just not really sure if there is a direction to expect here. First entry short, second entry short. Support right at the midline. It's again another spot where I just want to put it there. But it feels like it wants to break out. I think because it didn't come back down. It went to the top, it didn't come back down to the bottom. So it feels like a bullish imbalance here to me. Inside bar.
Order canceled.
Just not really sure. Like I want to trade my limit order at range support or resistance when I have a clear channel that I'm saying, okay, well, I'm expecting it to retest the low, for instance, anyway. This one, I mean, you could say that's that, but it's already tried twice, and a third time it couldn't even get down there, so it's really hard for me to feel comfortable shorting it context-wise there. mean, this market really has been difficult today to find a setup, to feel like you have an understanding of where it's going. And, you know, I missed from 8:30, well, 8:40ish around here, I think is when I left. I was gone until here, so I missed a lot of the move up. I think there was one PB in there somewhere. And then just not a lot. All right, so the short would have worked here. Still have the measured move down there. This is yesterday's low, which we've been below it. All right, I'm gonna pause again. It's actually a potential PB if it closes higher. I'm not sure if...
Order submitted.
We've already got a breakout, so I feel like we have the bullish imbalance. Could argue there's something there. So if all the rules are in place, maybe I can take a PB to the long side here. I'm not sure if the rules will all be there. Let's see on the close. It needs to close right towards the top of the wick, or else it won't be high enough. That's too low. But yeah, on this next bar, if we get a close above, that's a first entry short, second entry short. So it'll be after a failed second entry short. It'll be a PB. I would take that. So I'm going to enter it on the chart to the left. If it happens, it needs a close above the resistance, essentially. And close up here. Don't want an inside bar. I know it's looking very inside bar. No, that doesn't qualify. Not sure how I feel about taking it after a doji. Inside bar doji. Don't have any rule in place for that. Haven't really seen that much, if at all. what I have a feeling is that the failed second entry shorts are trapped by the range. But we'll see. Definitely doesn't look like there's going to be a PB as it shoots up. All right, so not on that bar, but still, could still happen on this next bar. Definitely feels like sticking with shorts is the way to go here, but there is an imbalance here. Very sideways, a lot of bars stacked up. Even if it is a PB, it's probably not a good trade at this point. It's still not going to get there. If there wasn't this imbalance, I would just short the resistance. There it goes.
Order canceled.
I'm kind of just not thinking PB anymore because it's just so sideways and stacked up, and even if it were to come out of here and trigger, I'm not sure I feel good about it. Get ready just
Order
in case.
submitted.
Not going to get there again. It is making higher lows every time. Yeah, my concern would be that you get a close up here, it triggers the PB, and it's just a failed breakout. Don't want to take my one chance for a trade today. If it closes up here. It'd have to be a bullish bar too, by the way, to even consider it. It's not going to do it again. Doesn't get there again. So many tests of this at higher lows every time. If I was playing this range high short, just right at the resistance, would have worked once, would have worked twice, would have worked 3 times. It just can't go lower though. Look at that. Higher, higher, higher. Definitely feels like if the PB triggers, it's gonna go, but where does it go? Fail.
Order canceled.
One, two, three. They get triple tests.
Order submitted.
To the midpoint. I don't know. I hate these trades. Right into the middle. Probably works. I'd rather just do a range resistance short blind than do this. Here we go. That worked.
Order
Again,
canceled.
It's tested this so many times. It's gotta. It tried to go up. It couldn't do it so many times. It's gotta fail. But I have a hard time taking these kinds of trades. I'm still one tick shy of getting in my 8 ticks if I was in. So 2 hours recorded and no trades. It's 12:06. We got another 15 minutes or so. Do I trust the support? Not really. I definitely don't like that close below support, so I'm not going to buy it. This will be a first entry, second entry long. If this stopped right on it, I might have bought it on this candle. So if I bought that, that would have worked. Just at the support. Just gotta get aggressive. I'm just gotta take those chances. Running out of time on the evals, so there's no reason not to. It's also almost the end of the day, so there's no reason to do something stupid and have a red day and be frustrated. So this is just, I mean, I'm not going to trade a higher low in the middle of the range. I mean, this is just chopping people up to death. And the only way to play this is, in my opinion, to buy the bottom and sell the top. The problem is that on a really down day, when you're getting to this time, you know, sometimes the market just starts going again in the direction of the original trend and closes out really bearish to finish the day in a case like this. And I don't want to get caught in something like that. So also because you have another support pivot point here, so it may choose to go through this. It's already broken through here. You know, it broke through, failed breakout to the midline, and now it's possible it could be just go right through. I just don't have a good feeling for what prices are doing, so it's hard to take a trade. Sorry for the long live video today, considering that there's no trades. But I think it's good because it's good for me. I like it because I can go back and watch and see what I was thinking at any given point when there was something going on here. So Like, for instance, if I watch Mac on YouTube later talking about Pats and he talks about a trade, I'm like, well, how come I didn't take it? You know, I can go look and see if I recorded the video at that time and see what I was thinking at that time. Even though I'm really, truly trying not to trade Pats. 4-7 is not a good record for YouTube for me. I'm going to pause. It's just right in the middle. I'm not going to take anything in the middle. So another case of buying the range support would have worked for scalp. I really want to do it. It's just, it helps when you have an idea of, I mean, I guess the idea is it's just in a range, so buy the support. But I like having an extra reason. It's funny. One day you guys will see me buying these supports, because I really think it's the best way to play range. I just don't want to do it at the end of the day. I mean, I haven't really been feeling the price action. All right, so we're getting close to my stopping time. Is it going to break out of this range at any point? What's NQ doing? It's just, I mean, what is this? It's like, just no direction. And now you see the strong push through the EMA. I wouldn't want to short after that, by the way. Like strong through it, strong follow through bar. I think, let's see.
Order submitted.
My order would have been here, 71.25. So it would need 2 more ticks still. Well, 1 more tick and it would have worked for me. There it is. So if I had placed a short there, it would have worked again. So, I mean, how many trades is that? You know, it's like 1 here, 2, 3 or 4. Say 3 because you wouldn't have got the scalp until here probably. So about 3 times, 4 times there. 5th time on the bottom here, 6th time on the bottom here. It's definitely the way to do it. And then you could be risking low because you could put your order here and you could just put it your stop here, 72.25. So risk 4 ticks. Yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I'm thinking about. I haven't done it yet on YouTube, but that's how I'm considering starting to try to play these. And you definitely get some losses sometimes, but at least there'll be small losses usually if you just use previous wicks as your max risk. That's what I would do. I'm not recommending it for anyone else, but that's what I've been starting to try to observe more and just seeing how many times I would have won or lost. It's very tempting to start trading that way. It'll also just get me more trades. Yeah, I've only seen one Nlts set up this whole day while I was at the computer. So, but here inside of an hour, I've seen potentially, 4, 5, 6 trades. Just trading range highs and lows. Now I know if I do it right now, I'll take a loss at the end of the day because that's just how that works, right? If I put my sell order here now, this thing's definitely going to go up.
Order canceled.
So now the idea would be to put a buy order right here and see if it comes and gets you. I mean, just for me, I've seen how many times this has worked just right here. It's like, could have probably done something similar in some of these earlier ones. These weren't as healthy, these low ranges. So you didn't really have the same kind of thing happening where it was bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top. Like this one never got back to the bottom here. This one is really great for it. The question is, how many times do the buyers get denied that they can't get out of this, that they give up on the bottom? I don't know the answer to that. But it's held 1, 2, 3, 4 times. always stop at 12:30 and then I see these crazy runs afterwards. I don't know if there's setups in those or not. Maybe I'll stick around a couple minutes and just see. All right, so 12:30. Let's see if there's some kind of last push in a direction. Seems like usually right after I stop recording for my day, I go back and look and there was a big move right afterwards. And what a boring day. I saw that big push down this morning before I started. I was like, well, there's going to be a lot of action. There was another push down when I was here. Just didn't get in on that. I just have a feeling this is going to be the time it breaks out. Way more attempts to break out to the top than to the bottom. Strong close above. There it goes. So that's the time I would take a loss. If I put it there again, my stop would have been above this. And that would have been where the loss came from. Now I thought I was going to do this all the way over here. So that's why I wasn't shorting over here. Now the question is it going to be a failed breakout or is it going to keep going? Failed breakout. And my rule would be if I am taking these trades, support and resistance trades, I'll call them LRs, ultimately limit range plays. After there's a breakout, I would stop taking those trades in either direction. That is what my thinking is right now. So I know that, that's why ranges form. I know there's people just placing limit orders on tops and bottoms. They're going for however many ticks they're going for. And there's enough people doing it that forms these ranges. All right, I think I've been here long enough. Been here since 7:10. And just couldn't quite find something I liked. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for me today. If you watched this whole long video, sorry, it wasn't very exciting, but it's easier for me to just leave things recording a little bit longer than trying to just, perfectly only record, when something's really happening. There's been times where I've missed trades because I wait too long because I don't want to record unless it's going to be for a reason. And then, it's frustrating. So it's a little bit easier to just let it record and not think too much about having to record or not. And if something happens, it'll be there. And if these videos are too boring to watch, there's always going to be the shorter review videos. And, those tend to be 20 minutes or less, depending on if there's much to talk about or not. There won't be much today. So thanks for watching. 71% discount available on Apex evaluations. Use this code or any other. Personally, I'd wait for the 80 or 90%. And no trade day for me today. And that'll be it. Thanks for watching. Like or subscribe if anything I'm doing is interesting to you. Thanks. Bye.